Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Luke Dorr, one of realestate.com.au's national customer training managers, and I'll be your host for this webinar today on how you can get ahead with Premier Plus. I'm also joined today by Ryan Yan. Ryan has been a senior product manager at REA for over 3 years and currently leads a team responsible for developing those core advertising products, which I know a lot of you will know and love. They include Lux and Premier Plus, and he focuses really on delivering value that exceeds all of our customers' expectations. We also have Lindsay Cooperwaite with us today as well. Lindsay is a senior product manager at REA Group, and her focus is on creating excellent consumer experiences, so everything on the consumer side of things. She currently leads a team developing tools to help users find properties, delivering real value and achieving strong business outcomes. Before we get started, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and we extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be joining us today. We have a completely full agenda, so buckle up. We are going to start by stepping you through exactly what those really exciting new Premier Plus features are, the ones that have recently launched, as well as some that are going to be coming pretty soon, in actual fact, only a few weeks away on the 1st of July. We'll be looking also at the flexibility options that a lot of you have available to you, and more importantly, how can you actually access and apply some of this flexibility to your current subscription. We're going to give a reminder of all of the wonderful existing features that you already have access to as well, and more importantly, some simple tips and tricks to ensure that you're getting the most out of them. So what is the feedback that we're hearing from other agents about the best ways that they are using those current features? We will look at Lux as well for some of your premium campaigns. And then lastly, and arguably the most fun part of the webinar, is that we're going to wrap up with a Q&A at the end. So I encourage you that if you do have any questions at any stage as we progress through the session, please place those questions into the Q&A function below, and we will do our best to address them at the end. So rather than the chat function, if you can apply them to the Q&A function, that'd be great. I know we've had a few questions that have come in off the back of registrations as well, so we will do our best to get to those at the end. So as you know, Premier Plus gets you the best result for your listing, driving interest and demand, not only on market, but also now pre-market and after you sell. We have had Premier Plus in market for a couple of years now, so we have a really large sample size of tens of thousands of listings that we can apply some really great data to. And the number one call out that I'm hearing most often than not from agents in terms of the data is that they are selling this to vendors in a way that is suggesting that it is selling 12 days faster than a normal Premier listing. So important to distinguish there that the Premier Plus listings are selling 12 days quicker, not than a standard listing, than a Premier listing itself. So a lot quicker traction. The other thing that we're seeing is we're getting a lot more views on these Premier Plus listings. When we speak about views, it's not necessarily just views in the search results, but it's actual clicks straight through to the property page as well. The other and the last stat there you'll see is that we're getting 91% greater engagement on the listing. So a lot of agents ask me, okay, that's great to have the views, but are people engaging with these listings? So yes, they are. A lot more clicks through the images, a lot more play button clicks on the videos, and a lot more interactivity with the floor plan. So in a nutshell, Premier Plus is delivering more views, more engagement, more competition, and ultimately a higher sale price for your vendors' listings. So before we get into the detail of the features, I want to show you a really quick visual on how all of this comes together and ties together. So as I mentioned, Premier Plus is a complete marketing solution for every step of the advertising process. For those of you who have been listing with us for a while, you would know that historically, we used to have one Premier listing that would go on site, and that would be it. It would remain on site until that property was either sold or taken off market, or in the case of rental properties, until it was leased. We now have a pre-market, an on-market, and a post-market stage for every one of your property listing campaigns. And the important thing to call out here is that with the exception of Audience Maximizer that you can see down the bottom there, every other tool that you have access to in Premier Plus comes at no additional cost. So whether it's the listing bump, whether it's the e-brochure, whether it's the fact that we send a sold e-brochure out when the property sells, all of those different line items are at no additional cost. Like I said, with the exception of audience maximizer, which is an optional add-on. So I'm going to hand over now to Ryan Yan and stand out of his way. Ryan, as I mentioned, is one of our best senior product managers at REA. And I know he's very eager to share with you some of the outstanding new value that he and his team have been working on recently. So Ryan, over to you.
Thanks, Luke. Very kind words. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. As Luke mentioned, I'll be taking you through some of the new value that my teams have been working on, and then my colleague Lindsay will be taking you through some other great new features that we're about to drop exclusively for Premier Plus customers. We know that understanding your campaign performance is important to you and your vendors. That is why we've enhanced our campaign reporting in Ignite to help you to have a more meaningful conversation with the vendors throughout their campaigns. This new report will help you understand genuine interest by pinpointing buyers showing serious purchase intent for your property through campaign highlights. Key metrics include exposure, views, inspections, and inquiries. Understand how different components of your campaign are driving engagement and actions back to your listing through performance breakdown by products. Benchmark the market and view a detailed comparison with your campaign performance compared to other similar properties in your market via the enhanced benchmarking tool. Now, all of these new insights and tools went live on 1st of April. So if you haven't already, make sure you jump into Ignite and start having better conversation with your customers today. Now, just to show you how easy it is to access this new reporting in Ignite, we put together a very quick walkthrough video. Let's take a look together.
See the true interest in your property without enhanced campaign reporting, unlocking deeper insights to power meaningful conversations with your vendors. Once logged into Ignite, click on Listings and Campaigns. From there, click on a listing you wish to access and you will land on your new campaign reporting on the Performance tab. Under Campaign Highlights, you will find the key metrics of your campaign reporting. These metrics include deeper insights on campaign exposure, listing views, inquiries, and inspection actions. You can also see what meaningful high-intent actions have been made from buyers or renters by simply clicking See More to access the breakdown of each. And on the top right corner, show unique visitors lets you see the number of individual people who visited your listing instead of the total number of all visits. The Suggested Action section helps you inform you on what the next best actions are for your campaign. The Listing Views section of your report shows how your listing is performing compared to similar listings in the market, and how each of your add-on products have boosted your performance. To access more details on the performance of each product, click on these buttons on the top of the graph. Additionally, you can change between exposure and views through the switch button. Scroll down further to see listing engagement actions, where you can get a picture of how users are interacting with your listing. Broken down into categories, you can view important high engagement metrics like how many people are saving your listing, the number of people that are planning or register for inspections, as well as phone or email inquiries received. Lastly, see which other properties potential buyers and renters have also viewed. Explore your new campaign reporting in Ignite now and get the best results for your listing every time.
Now, in addition to the enhanced campaign reporting, which is already live, a new vendor reporting is also coming your way. You'll be able to easily and quickly keep vendors up to date and share reporting throughout their campaigns, while demonstrating your expertise and achievements to help you build your brand in the market. You'll be hearing from us soon with more detail closer to the release. And now I'll be handing over to my colleague, Lindsay, to take you through some of the new value being delivered by her team. Over to you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Cooperwaite. I'm a Senior Product Manager here at REA Group. And as Luke mentioned, my team and I are focused on creating great consumer experiences to help people find their perfect property while also delivering real value to you, our customers. And one of these new experiences is property walkthrough videos, available 1st of July on all Premier listings. So this is an additional video type that you'll be able to include on your listing. Property walkthrough videos allow you the chance to give potential buyers and renters a guided tour of your property by following the floor plan, helping you drive interest and engagement in your listing while, if you choose, also building your personal brand. One of the major advantages of the format is its flexibility in production. So a walkthrough is easy to create on your mobile and can be more informal in style, which means they can be really low cost to produce as they don't require a production company. However, you can also invest in a more premium production if that's right for you, your agency, and your listing. So just a few key details and considerations for property walkthrough videos. The optimal length is 90 seconds, so quick and snappy to ensure you keep your property seekers engaged. The video should be shot in portrait format for the best mobile viewing experience, and the walkthrough experience is designed to follow the property's floor plan. You can choose either to feature in the video and host the tour or be behind the screen. The video must be loaded to YouTube with the link added via Agent Admin or your CRM. More detail will be coming, but you don't upload it in the same field that you do for regular property videos. This is important because it means we know then that it's a walkthrough video and we can give it a special treatment within the experience, such as a specific icon on the search results page and labels that tell users that it's a walkthrough video. When we asked our users what kind of video they wanted to see, a walkthrough was a clear winner. We know so many of you are already using a similar format on your social channels with great engagement from your audiences. I really love watching them. So we're really excited to be able to give you the opportunity to easily add these to your listings. As we get closer to launch day, you'll be provided with plenty of helpful resources on how to make and upload walkthrough videos. In the meantime, you can also review our Help Center content that has answers to lots of FAQs by scanning the QR code on the screen there. So let's take a look at an example of a property walkthrough video.
Welcome to 511 Church Street, Richmond, home to this beautifully renovated property they call Glenard. This charming Edwardian house, built in 1910, sits on 697 square metres of landscape gardens. It features 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and ample storage, making it both attractive and highly functional. The main bedroom is spacious, 4.5 by 4.2 metres, with built-in wardrobes and direct bathroom access. The second bedroom, measuring 4.2 by 4.2 metres, offers built-in storage and a decorative fireplace. The third bedroom features access to the attic storage, which you can get to via a ladder. A versatile second living area with a stunning stained glass window can serve as a playroom, study, or even a private pinball parlour. The kitchen boasts granite benchtops, premium appliances, a hidden laundry and a butler's pantry. In 2021, an architecturally designed extension was added, ideal for entertaining and providing easy access to the garden. A mulberry-coloured door leads to a single carport and extra parking space. The new extension is also ready for a possible future parents' retreat upstairs. The garden is perfect for entertaining, complete with a built-in barbecue and pizza oven. Glenard at 511 Church Street offers a perfect blend of heritage charm and modern convenience. Don't miss the chance to see it yourself.
All right, and another new feature that our team have been hard at work on recently is Property Highlights, also launching on the 1st of July. So Property Highlights relies on AI to pick up 3 top features that you've outlined in your listing description and headline to help buyers quickly and easily understand what makes your property unique, which may have otherwise been overlooked if they didn't read the listing description in full. So the features will be highlighted as you see on the screen in a large format that summarises the highlights and has matching icons. And what's great about this feature is that it's all automated. AI does it all for you, saving you time and ensuring your property highlights are front and centre. Now, if you're wondering about editing these, they've been designed so you don't have to. You just upload your content and let us do the rest. However, it's useful to know that the listing headline does carry more weight, so it has a bigger influence on what gets picked up. And if you want to, you can trigger a refresh of the highlights by updating the listing copy, both the headline and the description. And with that, I'll hand over back to you, Luke.
Thank you, Lindsay. Very exciting. I know there's a number of agents that are really keen to sink their teeth into those new property walkthrough videos. Like you mentioned, a lot of people doing it on socials, but I think there's also some agents who might feel a little bit uncomfortable about being in front of the camera. I love the fact that we can just do a walkthrough now, and the example that you showed, like with a voiceover over the top, makes it really easy to do, and more importantly, will resonate with the consumer audience. So they look fantastic. So we're going to move on. We've had a little bit of feedback from some agents over the last 12 months or so around potentially in some cases being priced out of the living room with the Premier Plus fees, or some marketing schedules are maybe starting to eat into their commissions, or in some cases, as much as we try and convey the value, some vendors maybe just aren't understanding the full benefits of what they get with Premier Plus. So as much as I'm sure we all agree that Premier Plus is the best solution, we want to give you an ace up your sleeve when you need it. And it comes in the form of increased flexibility as part of your Premier Plus subscription. And you'll see it on your screen in front of you at the moment, broken down into 4 different buckets, starting with Campaign Flex, which is the ability for you to downgrade 1 out of every 5 of your listings to either a highlight, a feature, or a standard listing at the respective highlight, feature, or standard rate. And you do this using those Campaign Flex points that you'll accrue every quarter. And as it suggests, 1 in 5 effectively means 20%. So if you have 10 listings that you do in one quarter, the following quarter, you will have 2 listings that you can apply a Campaign Flex downgrade to. So a great little ace up your sleeve to be able to downgrade a listing if need be. The second one you'll see there is Pay on Sale. Now, this was incredibly popular through COVID when we launched this option, and a lot of agents will refer to this as a no sale, no charge option. It is the ability to list a Premier Plus listing with no upfront payment whatsoever. And if that property doesn't sell, then there is no charge. Now, if that property does sell, it's an additional 20% on top of the normal Premier Plus listing fee, but it's a great insurance blanket for a lot of agents who might not necessarily know whether they're going to get the right figure for their home that they want. The Pay on Sale is an option there as part of that Campaign Flex as well. The third one you'll see down the bottom is Lower Value Asset Flex, or what we refer to as LVA Flex. This provides you unlimited access to downgrade any lower value properties to either a highlight or a feature listing. Now, we have recently launched some new thresholds, so you have more LVA options than ever before. And to give you an example, if you were listing a property in Richmond, if that property was priced under $400,000, then it would qualify for LVA flexibility. So again, the ability to downgrade to a highlight or to a feature at a much lower rate than what you would normally pay with a Premier Plus listing fee. And the last one there has been really popular since we've launched this, and that is the extended off-market periods. So you'll know that traditionally we would give 60 days to be able to take a property offline and then put it back online without accruing a second fee. We have now increased that duration to 90 days. So you can pause your campaign for 90 days at no additional cost. And I know there's a lot of vendors who are thinking about, potentially doing minor renovations midway through a campaign. They might want to refurbish. They might just want to take the property off as we go through winter and things start to slow down a little bit with some seasonal market changes. Well, you can take that listing off, and provided you reactivate the same listing within 90 days, there is no additional fee. To view any of your Campaign Flex points, you can check this out throughout Ignite and also apply any of these options throughout Ignite. So we've looked at the flexibility that you have access to. We've looked at those new campaign reporting details, thanks to Ryan, and they look fantastic as well, which we've just launched. We've also had a sneak peek at what's coming on the 1st of July, which is creeping up on us very quickly, only 3 weeks away. What we will now go through is what are those existing Premier Plus features that all of you have access to? And more importantly, what are the tactical ways that you can use these features to make sure that you get a better result at every step throughout the campaign? Starting with pre-market, which is available for your sales listings, or what we refer to as your buy listings. The Coming Soon listing is our pre-market solution that enables you to really start interacting with engaged buyers before that listing goes live on site. Important to distinguish here that this isn't an off-market solution, rather it is a pre-market solution. And we believe that it's there to really complement the current processes that you have in place. I know that there are a whole raft of buyers, in fact, millions of buyers who come to REA and they subscribe to realestate.com.au, and they effectively tell us, we want to know about properties before they hit the market because we want to get a bit of a leg up on our buyer competition. So the beauty about the Coming Soon listing is it'll allow you to communicate with these buyers. The idea is that this Coming Soon notification will go out 14 days prior to the go live date with your listings. And a lot of agents are talking about the fact that it's a really smart way to test the market first. You can use this to push out to this buyer pool and get a bit of a feel for where they're at and where they think the property is priced at. So if you've got a bit of a discrepancy potentially between what the vendor thinks their property is worth and what you believe it might be worth given market value, again, a lot of agents have said, let's just do a coming soon listing a week or two prior to going live, see if we can get some early offers in or gauge where they think the value is at to try and align what that price is before you then launch it live on site. You'll notice on the screen there that property.com.au is called out as the third largest property portal in this country. So no prizes for guessing what the number one and number two might be, but you will get exposure on property.com.au as part of the coming soon. And if we're talking to that REA database that I talked about, you could argue that the inquiries that you will get will be genuine, authentic, valuable inquiries, not the sort of inquiries that are asking about open for inspection types. And in actual fact, as it says, REA users are 73% more likely to submit an inquiry through a coming soon listing than what they are on a normal Premier Plus listing. So a really engaged market that you're actually pushing those coming soon listings to. So you can create a coming soon listing within Ignite, and then we will match it to the actual listing once your property goes live on site. And again, it is all done at no additional cost. The on-market part of your campaign, for most of you, it'll be something you are familiar with, but there are still some very strategical levers that you can activate. So let's dive into some of those. We've designed a suite of listing optimization features to help you improve the engagement on your listing, starting with, at the top, the listing strength check. And what this is the ability to exactly read how your listing sits against other properties that might be in market. We know that things can change so rapidly in this industry, and the listing that you put online today will be completely different in terms of the competition that it has this time next week. So based on the behavior of buyers and renters on site who are looking at similar listings, we can use artificial intelligence to give your listing strength a score out of 100 against how it sits against other listings that are in the market. And this gives you an opportunity to improve that score. So as an example, you might have a 62% and be sitting 10% lower than what the average is in the market at that current time. So outside of just giving you a score, the system will actually give you a suggestion about the features of the property that you can start to call out, like the land size, or is there an open for inspection time that might be coming up? So all of this sort of stuff can drive more engagement, to drive and generate more inquiries, and like I said, more competition. So how do you use this to your advantage? Well, the conversations I'm hearing is that it is used to advantage in two different ways. Number one, it gives you the ability to have more tailored conversations with your vendors. So midway through a campaign, do we need to tweak their campaign a little bit and call out open times or call out the land size to try and bring some more buyers in? The second way that a lot of sales managers, general managers, and directors are using is in their team meetings for benchmarking. So you can provide this sort of data directly through to your team on a Monday morning to compare the way that some listings sit compared to other listings, and what can we do to bring these other listings up to drive more engagement. Because after all, our research will tell us that your listing, as it says, will get twice the amount of views when you double your strength score. More views, more inquiries, greater competition, and a higher sale price. Also under the listing optimization umbrella is image optimization, which I know for a lot of you is a crowd favorite. What this will do is it'll increase the chances of catching more attention when we potentially reorder the photo carousel of your listing images. Now, it won't happen in every instance. Sometimes you might nail it and get it perfectly right, that the photo order in the carousel is correct to the way that the consumer wants to view them. But what we're often seeing is that there are some some images that are getting more engagement than others. And as a result, we can shift those photos around to try and attract more people in. So we based on the images that are receiving more interactions, and it will take place on day 14, which is really critical because we know that it's just prior to that 15-day rotation when the listing is set to go back to the top of the search results. Something that is now new to your Premier Plus campaigns, though, is the ability for a second manual photo reorder. So the great thing about this is that you can go and schedule this at any time that suits you. Consider when it might be the most beneficial. Is it before an open for inspection or an auction, or is it after maybe just a quiet period that you've had in the campaign as a way to refresh the way that the property presents itself to market? I know that there's a lot of agents that are saying to vendors, we can really utilize the REA data and artificial intelligence to try and grab more engagement and interaction from buyers, as opposed to just doing a set and forget campaign. So you do have this at your fingertips. You do have opt-out available within Ignite as well, if you feel like this is not the thing for you. You can also find property feature suggestions as well. So those property features which may have been missed. Some buyers and renters are very granular with their search, and they are doing a whole heap of filter searching on specific features that they might be specifically after. And often these features aren't listed. As an example, we know that 14% of Australian homes currently have a pool, and yet only 6% of listings on REA actually have the pool featured and called out on them. So this is a great feature which will suggest what are those attributes that we may have missed, which means that the more filtered searches that you and your listings will appear in, the better it is for the engagement. Listing bump gives you the freedom to choose when you can push your property back to the top of the very top of the search results. Now you can do this once per campaign, but remember you need to do this before that property is sold and moves to the sold section. A lot of people will ask, okay, when is the best time to do the listing bump? I think it's best to answer by saying it's best not to do it around day 1, day 15, day 30, and anywhere near that 15-day rotation, because we know that the listing is going to go to the top of the search results on those 15-day rotations anywhere. So you're going to see it around about day 7, maybe day 23 might be best in a normal campaign. A lot of agents I'm speaking to will do this again prior to an open for inspection or prior to an option to generate a little bit of interest, to bring it back front of mind, or potentially if you need to do a price reduction on your property to try and bump it back up to the top. If it is easier for you, you can also schedule the listing bump. So as soon as that listing goes live, you can schedule the listing bump to happen in 2 or 3 weeks. And a lot of agents might be scheduling it immediately, and then later on they'll change it if they need to and sort of break glass in case of emergency, if you like. We know that 92% more page views for the week following doing a listing bump, so almost twice the amount of page views. So it is highly effective, yet it's very, very simple to activate. You can do this within Ignite straight away. Simply click on Ignite, click on the listing of choice, then click on the Manage tab, and then select Listing Bump to be able to bump your listing. We are seeing on average about 10 million individual Australians who are visiting REA every month. Recently in April, that was over 13 million. And a big chunk, in fact, 1/3 of these users are subscribed to a realestate.com.au account. So the reason that they do this is to stay informed about the latest properties that match their search criteria. And the great thing for you is that through your Premier Plus subscription, you can now activate an e-brochure that directly pushes out to these consumers. It is sent directly to them, and it will go out roughly on day 7 of your campaign. Now, with the rent properties, you only get the 1 e-brochure, but something that a lot of salespeople may not be aware of is that you actually get a second e-brochure that you can trigger at no added cost once within the campaign as well. So the first one goes out automatically. The second e-brochure you can do at your own disposal. Again, you generate this through Ignite. And again, if you want to pre-schedule the second e-brochure to go out, absolutely fine. Now, the way that I'm hearing a lot of people that are using this is a really good tool for vendor management. So think about that awkward discussion that you have to have with a vendor when you're saying, okay, we haven't had a lot of traction. We might need to reduce the price by $40,000 or $50,000. If you can come to the party and meet me halfway with a reduction on the price, I can activate not only an e-brochure, but potentially the listing bump as well. And this will then push it to the top of the search results and generate an e-brochure that will land in targeted buyers' inbox to try and generate more interest and hopefully get more people to our next inspection. A tool which, like I said, doesn't cost anything extra to activate, and a lot of savvy agents are using it at every chance that they get. Let's round out our feature reminder for you with unlocking one of those post-market tools for your buy listings. And the e-brochure sold is where you're able to share all of that great success you have with listings to your prospective sellers. Now, if I'm being completely honest, there is no great benefit to your vendor with this, but it is an immensely valuable agent or agency branding tool. Now, you shouldn't play favorites, but I know that this one sits right at the top of the tree for me. because we can use it to directly communicate with prospective vendors. 1 out of every 3 properties in this country has been claimed by its homeowner, which means the vendor have come to REA and said, yes, I'm the owner of this property. And if we're finding that they are registered, or even if they're using inferred data, like if they're going to the sold section, if they're looking to find an agent and looking in the find an agent section, and if they're showing behavior on our site to indicate that they are a prospective vendor who could be ready to list in the next 3, 6, 12 months, we can communicate directly straight through to those people with that e-brochure sold. Now, the great thing is that it is completely automated, and it will send out 48 hours after you move your property from the buy channel to the sold section. It is highly targeted, and the idea is that it'll land in people's inbox to entice them to either inquire or request an appraisal. So hopefully increase the volume of seller leads that you receive. We know that a lot of potential vendors are also researching in the buy channel as well. So not just looking in the sold section, but they're looking in the buy section. And with the recently sold feature, you'll have the ability to have all of your sold listings placed in the buy channel as people scroll through what are those properties that are also available for sale. Now, important to know here that you must disclose a sold price for that property to sit in the buy channel, which is something that we hopefully you can do most of the time, but there will be those edge cases we know where for whatever reason you may not be able to disclose a sold price, but if you can, it'll sit within the recently sold section. So great features which are designed to extend your brand awareness with potential vendors by really sharing your success. So we've looked at the popular features, and you've heard about some of those new ones that are coming to enhance your reporting and your listings. This is a really clear timeline in front of you, which shows where each tool fits within the ecosystem and when it might be best to apply them. So the idea being that we'll use the tools to build awareness nice and early, get consumers to take action midway through, and then spruik the great result that you have at the right time for the right price. We've seen how Premier Plus is a comprehensive solution for exposure at every step of the way, but if you're looking for a competitive edge, so something that might be a little bit special for an individual listing that you want to really stand out from the crowd, then Lux is definitely the way to go. And for those of you on the dial-in who have used Lux before, you will have seen that it does 3 things. The first is that it will provide homepage placement to a targeted high intent audience. And you'll see that on the far left-hand side with that graphic and that visual there, that it will be on the homepage before someone starts their search. So the idea being here is that it will stop the buyer in their tracks and it will grab their attention before they have the opportunity to search in particular suburbs. The middle graphic will show you how it is most predominantly the largest listing in the search results. So a normal Premier Plus listing will have just the 1 image in the search results. This will actually have 4, the main hero image plus 3 underneath that. And a lot of agents I'm speaking to are saying to their vendors that this is a genuine thumb stopper. When people are scrolling through the listings that they see in the search results, they will stop and take notice of this one. And then the last on the right-hand side there is the premium notifications. So not just a normal notification that has the address enticing people to open it, but actually a visual of that property as well. We know that on average, consumers are spending roughly 45 minutes per month on our website, which is a long time to be on any website. But they're also spending 40 hours a month on other websites as well. And this will give you the ability to grab their attention when they're not on realestate.com.au. So a premium notification that lands right on their phone, enticing them to open it up and then grab their attention. So 2 times more page views and 71% more high value actions on a Lux listing. I know that, again, a lot of agents are asking, views are great, but what about that next step? What are those real traction points that we can talk to vendors about? Well, 71% more high value actions when you do a Lux campaign. And a high value action equates to inquiries, whether it's phone or email inquiries. It is save and shares, and it's adding it to your plan or registering to inspect that property. So also a very powerful vendor attraction tool as well. I know increasingly there are more agents who are placing this on their marketing schedules, and it may not necessarily be for every listing, but I think for those special cases where you really want to command attention from the market, it's a great one to have on your schedules. And you can see how a Lux listing ties in really seamlessly with all of those great Premier Plus benefits that you can get access to. So a lot of those are in grey up the top, and there's others that have been enhanced. So like I said, it's not here to replace Premier Plus, but more so to complement what you already do with Premier Plus. So think about the insights that you can get. Think about the more customized e-brochure and those premium push notifications as well that are there to engage a really passive audience. So like I said, not to replace Prem Plus, but to complement. And I know there are hundreds of offices nationally who have now signed up to the new subscription power bundles that we have in place that include Audience Maximizer Pro or Audience Maximizer Gold packages. So for those of you on the dial-in who have subscribed to these, you will now have access to a 20% discount on all of your Lux listings. This offer is available right now. So even if your contract for Audience Maximizer doesn't go live until the 1st of July, you will get access to that 20% discount on Lux now. And the good news is it is, like I said, automatically applied, and it will be applied in Ignite. So log into Ignite to trigger a Lux campaign whenever you need to. So before we throw to questions and finish up the webinar, your Premier Plus Resource Hub is your point of truth. It is your online oracle, and it can be definitely your best friend for all things Premier Plus. It is where you will be able to access previous webinars like this one today. Any online video demos or tutorials that we might have had will be on there as well. And of course, a lot of marketing collateral as well, which I know a lot of marketing managers love the fact that the marketing collateral can be customizable. So you can put not only the agency brand on there, but also the agent face and name as well. So you can really walk in to an appraisal with customized collateral that has the agency branding, and in some cases as well, the property image as well to be able to show vendors. So scan the QR code or head straight there to visit customer.realestate.com.au. Okay, it is now time for the part of the webinar which I definitely like the most because it allows me to really lean on some clever and creative minds within REA. That includes Ben from our customer success team as well that we have on the hook for any questions. So a great opportunity to answer any of your questions, which we can start to have a look at. And like I said, there's been a couple that have come in off the back of the registration as well. So the first question I might pose is from Catherine. So thank you, Catherine. So the question is, what is in the end the difference between Premier and Premier Plus? I'm going to throw, in fact, I'll be happy to take that one myself. So the main difference, Catherine, in answer to your question is the fact that with Premier, that is just simply the listing. So that is the listing on site that you get. And it does operate very similar from a listing perspective to Premier Plus. But the difference with Premier Plus is you get all of that pre-market value, as well as a lot of that on-market value with the e-brochures and listing bump, and then the post-market value as well. So all of those other features and tools that we can see as part of Premier Plus. I'm going to throw to Ryan. So Ryan, if you're ready, what is the difference between enhanced campaign reporting and enhanced vendor reporting?
That's a great question. Thank you, Luke. A good way to look at this is think of vendor reporting as the same as the campaign reporting, but with your own flair. Now, what I mean by that is before you can share your new vendor reporting with your clients via the shareable link through any channel of your choice, whether it's WhatsApp or email, you'll be able to have the opportunity to customize the report to align with the narrative that you're trying to communicate. Now, you will still have the option to share the report via the PDF format as traditional, it's your tradition, should your heart desire. But the new vendor reporting will give you a greater amount of flexibility.
Love it. And while we're talking about the reporting as well, Ryan, so another great question that's come in is how can I use these new metrics from enhanced campaign reporting to demonstrate the ROI to my agents and to my vendors?
Another great question. Now, obviously, we released the enhanced campaign reporting as at 1st of April. Now, not only you have a better understanding of the holistic campaign performance as a whole, so the new performance matrix such as campaign exposure, You'll also be able to see a broken down version of exposure and clicks driven by every single product that you have, you and your vendor has purchased exclusively in Ignite. So again, if you haven't checked it out already, feel free to jump in today.
Great, thank you, Ryan. And Lindsay, before you expect to be completely off the hook, we've got a couple here for you as well. So the first one is, how are the property highlights decided? And do I have say over which property highlights might be selected? That one's for you, Lindsay.
No worries. So property highlights are generated using information provided by our customers in the listing headline and description for the property. So then a large language model, an LLM, extracts, categorizes, and summarizes the key selling points to create those 3 distinct highlights that you saw in the presentation, and each presented with matching icons above the listing description.
Love it. So, and also for you, Lindsay, can you tell us what is the difference between property walkthrough videos and just the normal property video?
Yes, no worries. For property videos, creatively, REA hasn't really issued any guidelines to what should be in those videos, but they've been around for quite a while now. So we've got some trends in those. They tend to be longer in length and professionally produced. And then because of that cost, they also tend to be on those higher end listings. Walkthrough videos, though, other end of the scale, designed to be shorter, cheaper, and specifically to allow a user to understand the flow of a property. And also worth mentioning that within our experience within the app and website, those walkthrough videos will be treated differently with labels telling our users which type of video they're about to watch. And there will be even more detail coming out as part of the launch.
Love it. And I love this next question as well, because it's a real little crystal ball into the future, and love where this customer's headspace is at. So we're asking, how are we planning to improve the user experience in FY26?
Love it. Yes. Okay. So at a high level, I mean, obviously you've already seen 2 of the features that are coming, but at a high level, we plan to improve that user experience by making our platform more useful to your buyers and vendors more of the time. So you can expect to see increased personalization, new ways of searching for your listings, and new ways for buyers to evaluate those properties. And there will also be a streamlined process for connecting buyers with you through inquiries, inspections, and offers.
Love it. I'll let you catch your breath for a moment, because I've got one that I can feel, which is, do we have any best practices for using coming soon, example timing, or any limitations, guidelines on how long a property can have this label? Look, we know that the coming soon listing is a really smart way to build interest in your property. In terms of timing, it is available for 14 days before that listing hits the market. So I think best practice is to do it probably somewhere between 7 and 14 days to really test the market, to prime the market, and I think to give that property a real feeling of exclusivity to those buyers who have subscribed to want to know about properties before they hit the market. So somewhere between 7 and 14 days. If it is done 14 days prior, then it will be taken off, like it won't be visible after that 2-week period, but it is really there to help drive action for your vendors. And I know, like we said before, 73% more likely are consumers to submit an email inquiry, which is, testament to the fact that it's a really concentrated database that we're sending those coming soon listings to. Another one from our audience. So how do I best explain Premier Plus to my vendors? I think the best explanation would be that we're often seeing a change in the digital landscape with the way that consumers engage with properties and the way that they experience property. So we're always going to be shifting and iterating through the likes of Lindsay and Ryan and a number of other people internally at REA with the way that we serve these properties to people. If we look back at the way that buyers used to look at properties, and renters as well, they would a lot more proactively just come to a website and view the listings of their choosing. Whereas now there is a whole myriad of different ways that people are finding properties. So as a result, we now have a pre-market, on-market, and post-market solution for your campaigns. And we're really serving consumers the way that they want to be served. If you're a passive buyer who just wants to be told about properties through the likes of an email, and I might only check that once a week, so be it, and that will reach them that way. If using a mobile phone is the best way and I want to see push notifications come through, then that might be the best way. As I touched on with coming soon, if we want to see it earlier than hitting the market, we will serve the consumer that way. So that's the way that we, explain the difference to vendors, is that we need to evolve with the way that consumers are engaging. And like I said, properties are selling 12 days faster on a Premier listing. So a really big call out there that we should be communicating to vendors as well. We've got another one that says, how does Listing Bump compare with Premier Plus in terms of reach and effectiveness? And when should I use one over the other? So rather than comparing the two, I would say that the Listing Bump is there to be used in conjunction with all of the other tools that are part of your Premier Plus subscription. So it is really there to complement the existing Premier Plus campaign. I would suggest use Premier Plus to kickstart your campaign. So you put the property live, and then midway through the campaign, say day 7 or maybe day 23, then activate that listing midway through. So before an open, before an auction, if the campaign is struggling, like I said, break glass in case of emergency. We know that the listing button will get twice the amount of views after activating it. So again, consider keeping it up your sleeve for when you need it midway through the campaign. Another question that's come through asks, do you have a stock video that can be shown to vendors on a laptop, say that sells all the features of Premier or Premier Plus? So absolutely we do. So those videos are available on the Customer Marketing Center, which, like I said earlier, you can access at customer.realestate.com.au, which is, like I said, it is a great resource to be able to tap into. You have, as part of that Customer Marketing Center, there is a dedicated Premier Plus page as well that is absolutely packed with resources, which will help you better understand, I think, and more importantly, help you communicate the features that you have access to some of your clients. When you go to the Customer Marketing Center as well, there is the Resource Hub, which you can access as well, that has a lot of those how-to videos, help center articles, webinar recordings like this one will be available in the Resource Hub within the Customer Marketing Center as well, to help, really further your knowledge and ensure that you're getting the most out of your Premier Plus listings. And I think that is just about it. So I want to take this moment to say a very warm and heartfelt thank you to everyone who dialed in. Before you leave, you should see that there is a quick survey that will pop up on your screen, I believe, on your way out. So if you do see that survey in front of you, if you could take one moment just to complete that. A lot of your feedback is taken on board, and we use that to really iterate the way that we're going to conduct these webinars moving forward. So it would be greatly appreciated. It concludes today's session. We hope that you found it useful. Like I said, a recording will be available on the Customer Marketing Center, and we will also share a recording back to the email address that you registered with. So thank you for dialing in, for all your questions, your engagement. We hope to see you again soon.